Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. First tonight, the bombshell departure of Deputy Premier Michael Ferguson, who's stepping down as Infrastructure Minister. His sudden resignation amid the fallout from the botched delivery of 2 new Spirit of Tasmania vessels follows weeks of mounting pressure.
Another twist in the ferry fiasco. The Deputy Premier finally caving, deciding to hand back the infrastructure portfolio. Up until this morning, the embattled minister still had the almost unwavering support of party colleagues.
I have confidence in Michael Ferguson. He's a very good Deputy Premier and a very good Treasurer.
What about as an Infrastructure Minister though?
And as an Infrastructure Minister.
But within half an hour, Michael Ferguson fell on his sword, saying his decision to step down over the Spirit berth bungle is the only way to end the blame game once and for all, adding the ongoing commentary concerning the project is proving an unnecessary distraction and wants to focus on the looming state budget. In an attempt to navigate the Spirit saga back on course, the Premier will take on the infrastructure portfolio.
Jeremy Rockliff can't get away from this crisis by shuffling the deck chairs. He actually needs to resolve this problem. We need to get this project back on track.
The situation playing a part in the breakdown of the Jackie Lambie network. Party leader Jackie Lambie called for Mr Ferguson's sacking, but in the end, it was 2 of her own who were tossed out. The newly exiled MPs today breaking their silence, revealing they learnt their fate through the media.
Not the most professional way to be told that you've been, given the door.
Describing their working relationship with the senator as difficult.
We probably just needed a little bit more autonomy and a little bit more respect. We didn't feel like we were respected.
It's obviously been a bit of a roller coaster in the last week or so. I guess we're now free.
The extent of that freedom hanging in the balance of a new deal with the government. Victoria Risto, 7 Tasmania News.
TasNetworks and the Electrical Union have avoided an emergency hearing with the Fair Work Commission this evening after the union agreed to pause industrial action. But the union says workers will only attend to emergency work caused by impending storms.
The stormy relationship between TasNetworks and its line workers is being paused as a real storm with winds up to 100 kilometres an hour bears down on the state.
I'll be the happiest person in the world if that storm doesn't eventuate as severely, but on the information I have at the moment, we could have upwards of 10,000 customers out over the coming days.
A last-minute agreement late this afternoon cancelling a 5 p.m. Fair Work Commission hearing. The union saying its members will return to work to repair storm damage.
Our members would cease stoppages of work and be available to attend to make safe any imminent safety risks to the general public. We would restore power to hospitals, nursing homes and critical infrastructure.
With this provision now, I will get my crews back into the field as quickly as possible, and we'll repair the networks that are already under threat, and we will get ready then to recover networks as they're damaged through the coming days.
As of a short time ago, there are still around 700 customers without power across 18 outages, many in rural areas, sparking animal welfare concerns on farms.
Electricity helps contain stock within paddocks. It helps keep chickens warm. Not being able to milk animals can create animal welfare issues very quickly. And there's been scenarios where we haven't been able to water stock, so that can obviously create dire circumstances.
TasNetworks will table an improved offer at a fresh bargaining meeting tomorrow, hopeful of ending the impasse.
I then also asked the union leadership to consider what they're doing to the people of Tasmania. An old man falling over with no lights on in his house because of their action, cows dying.
That really is up to the TasNetworks board and the minister, who's, to be frank, has been missing through this whole process.
Nick Kelly, 7 Tasmania News.
A coronial inquest into the deaths of 4 drivers at Targa Tasmania events has been delayed due to illness. The long-awaited hearings are set to investigate the crashes which killed Shane Navin, Lee Mundy and Dennis Neagle in 2021 and Anthony Seymour in 2022. It's hoped the hearings will go ahead from tomorrow. The popular race was cancelled in 2023 and this year, but there are hopes to bring the event back in 2025. The Greens have renewed calls for the state government to put more focus on the Tasman Bridge cyclist and pedestrian pathways upgrade in a bid to ease traffic congestion, citing backlogs caused by a broken down bus at the railway roundabout this morning.
I'm often, fearing for my safety when I commute, which it shouldn't be the way that it is.
How can we have faith in a government that cannot deliver on time, on budget for our major infrastructure projects?
A government spokesperson says state growth is seeking further engineering advice on a design to minimise wind loads on the bridge and remains committed to the project. With ongoing upgrades to Tasmania's road network, there has been a reported increase in bad driver behaviour at roadworks sites. A new campaign launched today, urging motorists to keep a cool head while travelling through construction zones.
A plea for Tasmanians to remain calm while driving through roadworks.
People can be very rude and aggressive on the roads. We're only trying to do our job as well.
Mel has seen plenty of bad behaviour while on the job, including speeding and verbal abuse. Like many of her colleagues, she just wants to do her job and get home safely.
We experience a lot of things, a lot of road rage because people ain't happy that we're there.
It's their workplace, it's their office, and no one would want to be abused in their office, and they deserve the right to be respected at work.
Speeders are safety is the motto of a new campaign from the Civil Contractors Union, urging motorists to take more care behind the wheel, who claims the number of incidents at work sites has increased dramatically.
I know it can be frustrating, but to be blunt, they're there to save your lives as well as it is to save the lives of the workforce.
So they can lash out in unexpected ways, and that usually is when someone is in their way.
The advertising campaign kicks into gear ahead of the warmer months when traffic is expected to increase on the state's roads.
As a community, we should be thankful for the work that they do in keeping our roads as good and as safe as possible.
Drivers urged to show their thanks through positive action so that road workers can clock off safely. Mark Zita, 7 Tasmania News.
Well, it has to be Tasmania's worst kept secret. Our talented tourism businesses create the best food, wine and gin in the country. And they've returned from interstate with gold, going up against thousands of other top drops.
It's been a gruelling winter for tourism operators, but that hasn't stopped this trio bringing home gold from 3 separate national awards.
We don't create quantity, we create quality, and we do that probably better than most of the states in Australia.
A handful of food and drink producers making their mark as of late. One of those, Brim Creek, whose popular Pinot scored Best Wine over 1,700 others at the Sydney Royal Wine Show.
Some areas are getting too warm in other states to produce really iconic Pinot Noir, but Tassie really has that advantage.
With sustainable production becoming more and more sought after, gin from Derwent Distillery made for a smooth drop at the Clean and Conscious Awards.
Zero waste packaging with our products. We recycle on site. We use sustainable energy measures, we have solar.
With awards coming in from all across the country, tourism operators say it's a collective win for Tasmania. Our state continuing to bring home awards for whisky, wine and travel, giving back to regional communities.
They put our businesses on the national and the international stage, and they create desire to travel to Tasmania.
We can already see people booking in, bookings have increased.
A hope for many operators with warmer months on the horizon. Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
You might have noticed more Frankies, Rubies and Daisies at the dog park as of late. Those names voted some of the most popular for our furry friends across Tasmania, while Golden Retrievers, Cavoodles and Labradors remain our state's preferred dog breeds. The data was collected by RACT, reminding Tasmanians to be responsible pet owners this International Dog Day.
North Launceston will likely contest the qualifying final without 3 stars who've been cited by match review officials following Saturday's fiery victory over the reigning premiers. Oscar Van Dam, Lockie Mitchell and Brandon Leary are all facing 2-week bans for separate incidents on Saturday, but their co-captain has no qualms about filling the gaps.
We're going into the finals with, a squad mentality. So we've got roughly a squad of 30 blokes who have played senior footy this year, with blokes that can roll in, fill a void, play a role for the team.
The final round bye will give Blade Salzburger a chance to recover after suffering a knee injury. North Launceston's Brad Cox-Goodger is the top vote winner from that game, the Cripps Player of the Year. North Hobart's Angus Norton takes the 3 points from their win over Launceston, and Oscar Paprotny for Clarence after beating Glenorchy. Launceston Harrison Sellers has had a great weekend at Sandown, completing a clean sweep in the Australian Formula Ford Series. Taking the maximum of 61 points, he jumps to second in the standings with 1 round remaining in the season. Good weekend too for Wynyard's Kyron Bacon after claiming an outright win in South Australia for rounds 9 and 10 of the Australian Off-Road Championships. Finishing second in a 3-hour cross-country race but still claiming overall honours. Fellow Northwester Jonty Reinders finishing the weekend 3rd overall, first in his class. Tigers coach Jeff Vaughan is brimming with confidence about the future of new signing Raphael McMillan after the top-end T20. Now ready to take a chance on many of the fresh faces put through their paces in Darwin.
We learnt that players are very adaptable. We learnt that we shouldn't pigeonhole players and that we should provide opportunities for players to play different roles and not have a bias.
Attention now turns to the Big Bash International Player Draft, where the Canes have pick 4. And that is tonight in sport, Kim.
OK, thanks, Nick. Well, we have some rough weather on the way. Peter Murphy will join us with the forecast after the break.
Good evening. First up tonight, I want to tell you about the new Tas Alerts app. Very handy, including when it's all weather related. You can be advised of emergency incidents and warnings right on your phone. Just download the app, follow the prompts to even set parts of the state you want warnings for. So all the latest will be available right on your fingertips. If I can download it, anybody can. Let's look today now, and Hobart and Devonport reach 17 degrees, Launceston 18 and Burnie 15. Friendly Beaches with our top 19, St Helens 18 degrees, Grove, Ouse and King Island 16, Flinders Island and Smithton 15 today, Lowhead 14 and Strawn 13. Partly cloudy conditions over the state, bringing just a few showers to western parts. Low cloud is over most of southeast Australia and southern WA, mostly cloud-free for the rest of the country. Tomorrow, a cold front extends over the Bight to be just to our west. A high-pressure ridge pushes across a large area as well. Winds northwesterly and hitting up to 45 knots at times in the west and south, and swells up to 7 metres. Plenty to tell you about here. A storm force warning has been issued for the southwest coast. A gale warning for all remaining coastal and inland waters, apart from the Central Plateau Lakes and Channel, where there's a strong wind warning. Also, we do have minor flood watches for quite a few estuaries as well. And you might want to check those out on the warning pages everywhere. Forecast for tomorrow: Hobart, rain increasing, a windy day, 20 the top, 19 for Adventure Bay, windy as well, 14 for Tarraleah, rain increasing. Launceston, 17 degrees with rain on the way, plenty of wind as well, same for Devonport, 16 the top, 16 for Bridport. Burnie not missing out either, 17 degrees, rain and wind. Possible heavy falls for Strawn, 17 the maximum, 17 also for Marrawar. St Helens tomorrow, 17, a very windy afternoon, rain increasing for Swansea, 17 the top and 18 for Whitemark. On Wednesday, rain and wind again, easing later from the east and Hobart. Just a shower or two in the east on Thursday, but rain for most other parts, and very windy through Bass Strait on Friday as the showers ease later. Showers easing from Perth tomorrow, 23 in Adelaide as conditions ease there as well. A windy day in Melbourne, a top of 20, sunny and 24 in Sydney, a nice 28 in Brisbane. Cloudy in Hobart, it's 14, 13 in Launceston right now. The wind is picking up in Devonport at the moment, cloudy and 13 degrees. Very timely that the app, the Tas Alerts app is out there, Kim, because there's a lot of bad weather heading our way. Now, do I go to notifications or settings to get the notifications, or what were you doing before?
Oh, you're all over it. You know what to do. That's all your news for now. Thanks for joining us. Take care, everyone. Good night.